Hey everybody in YouTube land, this is Professor DiMaggio and Professor DiMaggio's Gaming. Thanks everybody for being here. What we're going to be looking at in this particular round is a Ken that I ran into. And so the sort of focus on this video is, what do you do when you run into YOLO players? And you know, one of the things that can be so tilting about the YOLO crazy players is that, well, you don't really know what they're going to do. So they're very volatile, do anything at any moment in terms of wake ups, supers, EXDPs, and really whatever. Like, you just sort of anything goes and anything can happen. So I'm going to walk people through a match, and hopefully this will give people a little bit more clarity about how to play someone who uses this play style. Thanks for watching. Okay, so we're going to be looking at a match with a Master Ken here. Interesting name, hell of a name, 10101. Let's see what happens in this match. So usually when I start out matches, I like to do a little bit of footsies poking, maybe throw like a fireball, do like a little, you know, this and that, medium kick. I knew right there, instantly within the first 9 seconds of the match, that this was a YOLO player in terms of the EXDP. So, you know, you just get that feeling right away sometimes, and stuff like that sort of is a dead giveaway. So I'm already thinking immediately, how do I deal with this particular player? And the real simple answer when you're playing YOLO or against YOLO is play as conservative as you can, because you don't really know what they're going to do. So every interaction should be limited in terms of reducing your exposure to getting lit up by damage. And what's going to happen is, because they're a YOLO player and they're constantly doing things like that, like the EXDPs and supers, they're going to burn through their resources pretty quick. So if you play conservative and just wait them out, you're going to be able to light them up for much bigger damage once they don't have those resources. So yeah, he's pressuring me, he's pushing. He had to throw a loop there, which is fine. I'm stuck in the corner. He's got the random DI. He burned himself out now, right? We're going to go back here. You get your DI, crouching medium kick into the drive rush cancel, and you burn yourself out. What is the value of burning yourself out so quickly? You're 20 some plus seconds into a match, into a round, and you've already burnt yourself out. So, you know, it doesn't mean that you're going to win every single match when these people are burning themselves out, but you are going to have the advantage over enough numbers of rounds. The odds are going to be with you that you're going to win these kinds of matchups. Okay, so you can tell this guy's pretty reckless. He does the Ken target combo, which you're supposed to be able to cancel into the run, and then the flaming corner carry hurricane kick. He missed that, so I can sort of tell this person is being really haphazard in the way they're playing. It's just classic YOLO style, between the early EXDP and missing it on his combo and burning out. And here's sort of the key, right? Like, okay, now you're going to start bullying somebody. So I charge up the whirlwind shot, and I go immediately into the amplified light mixer, because, you know, what's he going to do? He's not a modern player, so he's probably not going to be able to do a one-button super here, level 1 super, as I'm coming at him. He might try to jump, but we'll see. But, you know, it's a good sort of risk to take at this point. You want to be taking some of these risks once they're burnt out, because the likelihood over all of those interactions that they're going to be able to respond to all of them based on pure skill and knowing and recognizing what you're doing is very low, because with YOLO players, they're just doing whatever they want to do. They're oftentimes not necessarily paying attention to what you're doing. So this is where you want to take him to the corner, finish it up with the medium kick link into Light's Eagle Spike. The run, that's kind of like quasi-media if you time it right. It's more like a manual timing. You do the dash into the crouching medium punch into the medium cyclone. So this is really just more pressure. And there you go. You know, you're dealing with the YOLO, because he did have a little bit of super left, right? He had one super bar, and he uses it pretty much immediately. It's not even part of a combo, right? It's just straight up raw. So what ends up happening playing this person is, you know, my goal there at the end was to dash and block. I mistimed it a little bit. And so you're not going to win every single round when you play against a YOLO player, but the odds are with you over the period of a match or multiple matches that you're going to win, as long as you're playing more conservative. So you can see as we get into the second round here, we start off with a throw, an EX charge into a cartwheel forward. Now you notice that I went back because I was just assuming that he was going to do an EXDP there, right? And you have to sort of treat every interaction like that. You want to dress it up, whatever you're doing, into a bait, and you want to make it look like you're doing something, but not really do anything. You want to give these people a chance to hang themselves. Now, they're not going to take every chance, but eventually they're going to start taking those chances. So he got a whiff punish there, which was good, into corner carry. No shame ever, I think, in using a raw DI when you're in the corner. You're trying to get yourself out of there. If you don't get yourself out of the corner as quickly as possible, you're going to be in big trouble in a match. So, I don't sort of generally recommend pushing DI all the time in a match in terms of raw DIs, unless you've got it as part of a setup like a meaty DI or something in the corner. You're trying to mix people up and confuse them. But if you're stuck in the corner yourself, I'm not going to ever fault somebody for using a DI to try and push yourself out. So I had enough success there. I was lucky enough. Because he's pushing buttons as a YOLO. I know that there's going to be probably a better likelihood that I can push myself out like that. Hard punch into the medium eagle spike. Okay, so this player knows you go dash, dash. This is a meaty setup for Rashid. After the dash and the dash, you can throw. You can push a button, maybe like a crouching medium punch or a medium punch. And if you time these effectively, that's going to be meaty on wake up. But I already know, since this is a YOLO player, I'm just going to keep baiting them. So what you do is you do the dash and the dash to make them think you're going to push a button, and then you do a neutral jump, because with Ken and his EXDP, you are going to make him whiff. He's going to go under you if you do the neutral jump, which he does. So he gets thrown. I do another charge coming at him. And now you can bully, right? He has burnt himself out again, and you push him to the corner. It's a good bet to take at that point. Once you do the charge shot into the amplified mixer, he's blocking, right? You do a jab, cancels relatively quickly into the drive impact, and then you just light somebody up. So the optimal damage here is the charge shot into the EX mixer, into the EX sky high, into the medium mixer, into the level 1, and he just gets lit up. He's got no way to defend himself at this point, because as the YOLO player, he's burnt himself out. You outweighted him in the round. So we move on to the next round, and that one wasn't even that close. As you can see, once you sort of figure these players out, it gets a lot easier. So he has a good parry there, but the thing about the perfect parry is that usually doesn't work with multiple hits on the cyclones, particularly the light cyclone. It gets past that, and I know that. So, it's a good tool to sort of abuse. Playing a little bit of footsies here, the standing heavy kick, slide, jump forward, a hit, and he's burnt himself out again, as you see. So, you wait. That's the name of the game, being patient, right? That's what happened here. He's got the drive reversal. Okay, he already used up two of his bars. What did he do after that? The drive reversal. He tried to do the crouching medium into the drive rush cancel, which you just shouldn't do when you've only got 3 bars left, especially if I do a drive impact. I'm going to put you on burnout, which I did. And so, again, you just outweight these people. And once they're near burnout, you bully the hell out of them. What are you going to do at that point? Like, he's got some super meter, and I know that, right? But I've got him in the corner, so now this is yet another opportunity, as long as he's got super meter, to try and bait too. So I did the drive rush, make him think that you're going to push a button on meaty, on his wake up, and block. Now, this is one of the frustrating things when you're playing a sort of frantic match like this against a YOLO. Sometimes, the inputs in this game can be a little bit imperfect. So what I was trying to do here is a standing heavy punch into a heavy cyclone, roll into the heavy mixer, which is about a 30% damage. But sometimes the inputs get read simultaneously when they're really close together. So I felt like I was hitting hard punch into the heavy cyclone, but it read crouching. This is actually one of those issues. Have you ever talked to Rashid players? This happens a lot with input errors. Yeah, it was just an input error. It was a punish, but it wasn't the ideal one. Okay, and so I'm just pushing buttons one button at a time because I know he has more super meter, right? and I'm just wanting him to do another super because I'm going to get him this time, right? And there you go. You block, and that time I actually did come out. There was not an input error. He got hit by the heavy punch, heavy cyclone roll into heavy mixer, which is just 30% damage. Now I've got almost all of my life bar here, and he's got almost none left. When I ended up lighting him up for this damage, he still didn't have. It looked like he had no bar left after using it, right? Or he was going to have no bar left. So if we take a look here, he does the super, right? And then it's at 0, right? So I didn't really look at the meter again after that. I didn't realize that after I punished him, because I'm in the middle of a match and looking at what he's doing, I didn't realize he had built up to just that little bit of meter. So of course, what do you do if you're a YOLO? You're trying to bully somebody, you've got him in the corner. I thought he didn't have any meter. Jump kick, neutral, that's a meaty. So we'll see that again. After heavy mixer, you do the jump into heavy kick, meaty. You do the forward medium punch, and you can cancel that into the drive impact. But yeah, not paying attention to his meter. He did have that one last super left. So of course he's going to use it. I think he used 3 level 1s there in a period of 10, 15 seconds. That's sort of classic YOLO stuff. But the sort of damage has been done at that point, right? He has no resources left. He's burnt out. All I really have to do, do a drive reversal here, and the run slide punches, that's meaty on wake up. So this is game over if he doesn't block low, hits him, cancel into the level 1 super. Match is over. So, this is sort of the end of the match. I didn't rematch this person. I usually don't rematch people who play insane YOLO style. There's really nothing to be learned from these matches at this point after I've played as much of this game as I have. I feel like, if you beat somebody like this in one match, there's really not necessarily a reason that you want to keep playing match after match with them, unless you've got some sort of morbid amusement with beating up YOLO players. But, the template is pretty clear there. If you're playing these people in casual, they're usually not worth more than a single match if you're going to beat them and punish them, because they're going to keep playing the same way. They're not going to be conditioned. If you're playing in ranked and you just want the ranked points, have at it. Play a second match and beat them up a second time. But this video has really been about just sort of showing people this be such a frustrating style, right? You feel like you can't play offense because the person is so YOLO, and every time you try to do offense, they're going to punish you, and that's true. They've sort of tried to, I guess for lack of a better term, they've tried to what I called de-skill the game by being YOLO. Every single wake up is an EXDP or a super or whatever. And if it's just a matter of pure random variation, like you're doing what? You're doing a meaty. You may not be doing a meaty at that moment. Maybe they'll hit you. Maybe they won't. It's not really like a skill game at that point. It's just kind of random. But nonetheless, there is a rhyme to the reason here. You beat these people by playing conservative, waiting them out, waiting for them to burn out, making mistakes, and you punish. And that's been, I think, pretty well sort of documented here. So thanks for watching, and talk to you again soon.